So I ran a marathon yesterday and I wanted to make this video before I forgot what I went through. The training for the marathon, if you guys have been following this channel, didn't go well. I signed up for this marathon in January and then I usually run an average of about 10, 12 miles a week, once a week, with this running group that I really enjoy running with. And so that's my average is about 10 miles a week. And then as soon as I signed up, I ramped up really quickly over the course of like 1 or 2 weeks to about 35 miles a week. I was doing 35 to 36 miles a week for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then I got that soleus injury. And then I had to take 3 weeks off. So this is the 3 weeks I took off. And then I didn't want to re-injure myself. So I slowly ramped up the training. I got up to 38 miles a week. My plan was to get to 50 miles a week. And then if I made it to 50 miles a week and was feeling good, I was going to start incorporating a little bit of speed work maybe. But yeah, I just kind of got back to where I wanted to be in February. Ideally, my training would have looked like this, and I would have gotten to 50 miles a week about here. And then I could work on speed work. I would have been much better trained. But then I basically tapered here and then did my marathon yesterday. And so uh, I did a kind of a mile by mile blow after the 13-mile mark because the first 13 miles of the marathon, I took it what I thought was very conservative and it felt fine. It actually honestly felt fine until about mile 15, 16. And then it degraded fairly slowly.
Night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the Have so much fun, friends!
The 2022 SDCCUOC Marathon is underway. Look at the size of this crowd.
All over. Come on, we love you.
Okay, mile 14. Felt pretty good until mile 10. Definitely been feeling it for the last 4 miles. A little tired, starting to slow down, but not too bad yet. Let's see how mile 15 feels. All right, mile 15, gone about 8:45 pace until now. Legs pretty tired and feet are starting to hurt, but not too much different than mile 14. So let's see how mile 16 is. Mile 16, 10.2 miles to go. I guess I feel a little worse. I think everyone's feeling it at this point. All right, mile 17, definitely trying to struggle here. Breathing harder and everything hurts. Okay, mile 18, took my first gel. Feel horrible. Legs are really tired. All right, mile 19, feels horrible. They say the marathon starts at mile 20. It's starting off really bad for me. Quads are shot. I'm having to walk now for the first time. All right, I'm gonna try to walk 30 seconds and then run a mile. Walk 30 seconds and run a mile. I missed the mile 21 marker. but legs are cramping up. Very hard to run at this point. I know, definitely feeling the lack of training. Mile 22, it's a struggle to run here. Everything's tight, hamstrings are tight. Yeah, it's gonna suck the last 4 miles. Okay, finally hit mile 23. That last mile felt like an eternity. I have zero strength in my legs and barely made it to here. A lot of people are walking and running, so I gotta try to hold it together. All right, mile 24. It felt even worse. So tight and no energy. 2.2 miles left. Definitely gonna make it, but how painful and how slow is the question. Okay, mile 25. Joined this group that's doing 2 minutes of running and 1 minute of walking. Honestly, it's really helpful to break it up into 3-minute gaps. So painful at this point.
So I was in too much pain, and just took everything I had to just finish this, get to the finish line. By the time I got to the finish line, I was just so wasted. It took everything I had to run the last maybe like quarter mile to the finish line, and this is just the face of agony here. And these are the two people that I ran with. This a young lady and this 14-year-old young man. He did amazing for a 14-year-old. These two guys, they were running 2 minutes on and walking 1 minute, and it was really helpful to break things up in 3-minute intervals because trying to do 1 mile was impossible. I just could not do it, and even 2 minutes of running felt really, really hard. So this is my results. Obviously, fairly average. I was a little afraid that it was going to be really, really bad, and I think without doing that 2 minutes of running, 1 minute of walking at the end, and having someone kind of just tell me what to do, it would have been much worse. That helped so much just to have someone tell me what to do, so I didn't have to think about it. But it was a little bit better than I expected, but a lot worse than I'd hoped. I was really hoping I would be trained up, and I was thinking that if I had good training, I could go sub 3:30. I thought that would be a somewhat realistic goal, maybe, and if things went really well, maybe like sub 3:15. But if you look at, this is the Strava, and here's what it was. At first, I started with the 4-hour pace group, and that was really slow at about 9-minute miles. And then I realized that was probably too slow, and I kind of wanted to bank some time. And so I sped up and did I was averaging like 8:30 a mile for the first half marathon part. And then you can see this is where it started getting a little painful, mile 15, 16. But I could still hold it together. This part was no effort, very easy. And then around mile 15, 16, 17, it got progressively harder to maintain the same speed. So the speed remained the same, but just the effort required to maintain that speed was worse. And then finally at mile 20, it totally kind of fell apart, and I had to start walking. So mile 20 is when I had to start walking. So I would walk for 30 seconds or so and then try to run the remainder of it. And so you see that the average mile pace went from 8:30 to about 9-10 minutes, about 9.5 minutes. Then at mile 24, it completely I just couldn't do anything. And I was honestly planning on just walking the rest of it. I just did not have the willpower to walk, to run anymore. And then I saw that one group, they were doing 2 minutes of running and 1 minute of walking, and I thought, oh, maybe I can do that. And I latched onto them, and that was so helpful to have someone just tell me what to do. And that's basically what I did for the last 2 miles. mile 24 to 26. And then when I got to that last half a mile, this last bit, the hairpin turn, I decided we would try to just gut it out and run the last 3 minutes or so straight. And that's why the last gap is about 8:30. So return to the original pace. Felt so hard though, and somehow finished. Obviously, I kind of, it was so painful. I can barely walk today, and I kind of almost don't want to do another marathon. But then after looking at this, I really feel like I need to train and see what I can accomplish if I train properly. And so I'm probably gonna do another marathon. I don't know when. Um, Depending on how this year goes, maybe next year I'll run another marathon and see if I can do better. Because I think I can definitely do better. But the training just did not go well. This thing just killed me. I don't know if I would have had the time and the discipline to get up to 50 miles, but I think so. Um, so we will see if it goes better the next time. If you have any comments or suggestions for me, please comment below. And thanks for watching.